Deep in the heart of the uncharted seas, a group of explorers warily set foot on an island forgotten by time. These were no common wanderers. They were intellectuals, adrenaline junkies, and individuals who had chosen to dedicate their lives to the quest for the unknown. Among them, historians with their weathered journals and sharp eyes that could decipher stories from the minimalist patterns of nature. Their thirst to add another chapter in the chronicles of human history was palpable, as was their growing apprehension. Then came the archaeologists, armed with their trowels, brushes, and a burning curiosity. Their eagerness to unearth artifacts that could lend physical evidence to the narratives the historians aimed to write was matched only by their fear of what they might actually uncover. Their fingers trembled, not just with anticipation, but with an undercurrent of fear, at the prospect of touching the remnants of a time that no alive soul remembered. The thrill seekers were a different breed altogether. They were there not for the science, but the adventure. The unknown, the adrenaline rush that each new discovery promised, was their drug. However, even they couldn't shake off a vague sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. This motley group had united, despite their diverse motivations and the growing dread, in the pursuit of a lost civilization. The word "lost" signified not just a physical disappearance, but also an erasure from our collective memory. It was a phantom echo from an epic swallowed by the relentless march of time. Try and visualize a lush green landscape, an array of greens that would make the finest emeralds look dull in comparison. Here, nature was the unparalleled artist, creating masterpieces in every hidden corner. The ground underfoot was covered in a plush carpet of grass, interrupted by vibrant wildflowers that released their seductive scent into the chilling air. Towering trees reached the heavens, their leaves rustling ominously as whispers of the past. The air was heavy with life, and yet eerily silent, save for the occasional buzzing of insects, the distant chirping of birds, and the rustling of unseen creatures. But beneath the surface of this seemingly utopian paradise, there was a chilling sense of imminent danger. The island appeared to be holding its breath, waiting for an inevitable fate, a paradise untouched by man, embalming secrets of a time long past. It was a world frozen in time, a snapshot of an era that had been wiped off the face of the earth. The secrets lay deep, like buried treasure, waiting to be uncovered, holding immeasurable value in terms of knowledge and understanding. But like all treasures, they were fiercely protected. Little did the explorers know, they were about to disturb an ancient, slumbering evil that had been dormant for millennia. As they penetrated the heart of the island, the explorers uncovered disturbing remnants of the civilization that once thrived here. This was no ordinary island. It was a monument of the past, cradling secrets venerable as time itself. The ground beneath their feet was akin to an eerie painting, blotched with the footprints of an extinct civilization, the whispers of which still lingered in the wind. The trees, knotted and contorted, stood guard like mute spectators, testifying to a history that had tragically been forgotten. Among the overgrown foliage, they found chilling artifacts shrouded in enigma. Each artifact bore an eerie testament to the past, a shattered urn, its jagged edges adorned with cryptic symbols, the hollow eyes of weathered deity statues that seemed to pierce into their souls, ornate talismans with sinister carvings that hinted at an ancient, forgotten ritual. The explorers marveled at the craftsmanship, the meticulous details that spoke volumes about the island's once prosperous culture. Their fingers cautiously traced the contours of these ghostly relics, and with each touch, a sense of dread seeped into their bones. Under the dim, flickering light, they could make out ominous hieroglyphs carved into the stone. These weren't ordinary inscriptions, but symbols of a dark, potent force that had once reigned supreme on the island. The hieroglyphs, with their labyrinthine designs, were shrouded in mystery, and their meaning eluded the explorers. They depicted chilling scenes of rituals, human sacrifices to unnamed gods, and celestial bodies exerting an eerie influence over the island's inhabitants' lives. Unsettlingly, they found themselves drawn into these scenes, engrossed by the island's buried tales of power and magic. With every artifact uncovered, every secret unearthed, a chilling shiver rippled down their spines, their tension visible in the heavy, humid air. The air seemed to thicken with ever-increasing anticipation, saturated with the remnants of decay and the oppressive weight of the unknown. Their hearts throbbed within their chests, each beat echoing the island's pulse, its rhythm resonating in the rustle of the leaves, the mournful whistling of the wind. They felt a profound connection with the land, a deep-seated comprehension of the island's forgotten heritage. Unknowingly, their curiosity steered them down a path laden with ancient, forsaken rituals. Each step seemed to stir an ancient curse, a force that had lain dormant for centuries, biding its time. The stones beneath their feet hummed with a sinister energy, vibrating with an otherworldly power. The air crackled with tension, their every movement unearthing echoes of the past. And then, with a thunderous roar, the ground beneath convulsed as if the island itself was awakening. It felt as if the spectral spirits of the lost civilization were rousing from their slumber, their ghostly murmurs intensifying, weaving an intricate symphony of dread and expectation. The explorers knew then with a bone-chilling realization that they had awakened something timeless, something powerful, something primed for its moment to rise again. In a heart-stopping moment, the tranquil island morphed into a ghastly hellscape. The transformation was so rapid, so violent, that even the bravest among the observers found it impossible to accept the horrific reality that was abruptly thrust upon them. Where once lay an idyllic panorama of untouched beaches and lush landscapes, there now sprawled a bone-chilling dark wasteland. The palm trees, the prior insignias of paradise, stood as grotesque parodies of their past glory, their vibrant green fronds replaced with sinister, charred spikes that pierced the nightmare sky. The island, a haven of serenity and peace just seconds ago, had been morphed into a macabre stage for an ancient demonic force that had stirred from an eternal dormancy. This malevolent entity was not shackled by the rules of the earthly realm. It was a phantom, a specter from an era lost in time, reasserting its terrifying existence. Its emergence exuded a tangible sense of dread, a paralyzing fear that slithered its icy tendrils into the heart of each explorer, freezing them to their marrow. The once tranquil haven had been usurped by this unspeakable horror. It reveled in the pandemonium. Its abhorrent aura draped the island in a cowl of terror, casting a shadow so oppressive, no light dared invade it. The explorers could sense the entity's vile delight, its insatiable thirst for chaos and despair. It was a puppeteer of nightmares, orchestrating a symphony of panic that echoed through the unsettling silence. Their feeble attempts to flee in the face of this evil were laughably futile. Every step further into the unending darkness only amplified their terror tenfold. An overwhelming sense of dread held them captive, ensnaring them deeper into the quagmire of fear. Their hearts hammered in their chests like gory war drums. Their breaths were desperate, ragged gasps, punctuating the silence. They were helpless prey, their fate cruelly sealed by this insidious entity that found sustenance in their suffering. The island trembled under the magnitude of this ancient curse, a bone-chilling precursor to the explorers' impending annihilation. The very earth beneath their feet convulsed, buckled and writhed like an agonized beast. Each violent tremor was a death knell, a haunting refrain that echoed in their ears, a cruel serenade heralding their impending demise. The darkness closed in, blotting out the sun, the sky, the world beyond. It was as if the island and its doomed inhabitants were consumed by the most profound of voids. The explorers could barely discern their own trembling hands, their vision smothered by the all-consuming darkness. A brutal cold seeped deep into their bones, draining their strength and snuffing out their will to continue. As the darkness swallowed them whole, the explorers were abandoned to their fate, their hopes obliterated, their dreams crushed. Yet, amidst despair, a sliver of resistance, of defiance flickered. It was a seed of hope refusing to wither in the face of insurmountable odds, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, the unyielding will to survive, to wage war against the darkness and its abhorrent horrors. A haunting question lingered, hanging in the air like an unfinished symphony of dread, a question that, despite the grim situation, refused to be silenced. A question that danced on the precipice of their consciousness, goading and tormenting them. A question that consumed their every thought, every dream, their very being. Would they ever escape the claw of the forgotten island? As the explorers fought for their lives, they realized the horrifying truth. The curse was not just a punishment, but a test of their mettle, their courage, and their will to survive. It was a grotesque mirror held up to their very souls, forcing them to confront the demons that lurked within their hearts. Each explorer was tormented by their own personal demons, brought to life by the curse. Their darkest fears, their deepest regrets, their most haunting nightmares, all were given form and substance by the malevolent entity, forcing them to fight a battle not just for their lives, but for their sanity as well. Their struggles were as varied as they were intense. Some battled monstrous incarnations of their past mistakes, while others were pursued by horrifying manifestations of their deepest insecurities. Each encounter was a brutal reminder of the explorers' own failings, their weaknesses turned against them in the most cruel and terrifying manner. Yet despite their efforts, not all of them made it out alive. One by one the explorers fell, devoured by their own torment, their screams echoing across the desolate island as a grim testament to the curse's power. Their lives were snuffed out, their dreams and hopes extinguished in the blink of an eye. The island claimed its victims, leaving the survivors forever scarred by the curse of the Forgotten Island. In the end, the island was silent once more, its malevolent test over. But the survivors were changed, forever scarred by their ordeal. Their innocence, their sense of safety, their belief in the inherent goodness of the world, all were shattered, replaced by a haunting understanding of the darkness that lies within us all. And so, the explorers left the island, but the island never left them. The curse of the Forgotten Island remained, a haunting reminder of their harrowing ordeal, a scar upon their souls that would never heal.